Thank you. How are you, Rick?
Good. How's your wife and daughter?
Ah, oh, okay. I'm not at home right now. I'm far away
Oh,
from my
okay.
family.
Well, I
Yes.
mean, they can still be good, even though you're far away, right? Hopefully, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm in a mission. I'm in
Okay.
job mission. Okay, so
Okay. Okay.
I
Well, let me
hope
see.
everyone's doing well.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Bijan. Soso has joined us. So hello, Soso. So let me see. We have Iran, Algeria, Romania, Argentina, India, Japan, and the Philippines, the USA. Oh my God. Pretty big, a lot of diversity there, huh? Hmm. Asia and Europe and North and South America. No, yeah, Africa. Hmm. Quite a bit of diversity there, I have to say. So let's go ahead and begin. All right. So the topic today, what we're discussing today, again, welcome everybody. Today is the 17th of August. It's already halfway through, more than halfway through 2018. Again, a belated happy birthday to Nikki or anybody else. I try to remember when people have birthdays to send a quick note, but just in case I ever miss anybody, happy birthday to everybody all year long. Okay,
Oh,
does that
thank
cover
you.
does that cover everybody? Okay. Yeah, the speech. So we were waiting for the speech, but I don't know what's going on because I can't add people if they're if they're already part of the group. I can't. It doesn't give me the option to add them to that call. Even if I click on his name and add, it won't let me do that. So I'm not sure. I think it's a connection issue, connectivity issue. I think. Okay, so Mr. Hiroki, the topic today is what are the types of punishment we see in society and how effective are they in promoting good behavior? So let me kind of summarize what we talked about on Wednesday and Thursday. So on Wednesday, we had some articles that we talked about. For an example, is prison an effective way to punish criminals or as a deterrent for people to committing crime? We also talked about children. Actually, there's an article about children and the most effective way of promoting good behavior with children. And lastly, we talked about the self punishment, how people often, if they make a mistake, they will punish themselves. And in some cases, that's not always a bad thing. However, it can be a bad thing because it doesn't allow us to move on sometimes. So those are the things we talked about on Wednesday in the articles. Yesterday we had some role playing, and we were able to have some very interesting scenarios where people interacted again using a similar theme. So today we're going to have an open discussion, and because we have people from different countries here, I'm really curious about how you view this from either a cultural standpoint or a national standpoint, um, or a personal standpoint. So let's go ahead, Hiroki, and we'll begin with you. What do you think about this topic?
I think punishment is effective to control people, but short, like a shortcut way. But it's very difficult to change people's behavior. Just punish the people. For example, everybody has a different background, and maybe everybody has a reason to do that. So, without solving that reason or reason of doing so, and punishment is not effective. For example, you know, people speed is a most kind of dangerous and kind of somewhat popular drug here. However, people who are arrested by speed, many percentage of people. after they get out of the jail, they began to use speed again, and arrested again. And so nowadays, kind of self-help group or uh, some NGO group to how to deal with that problem began to be seriously discussed. Just claim the people or their family, it doesn't enough, or to be in a prison, it doesn't enough to solve the problem, because of the speed, the drug, and their brain change it. So it is said, it began to be said it's almost impossible to solve the problem by he or him, herself. So kind of um, proper proper program to how to stop, how to read, at the beginning maybe reduce, and then how to stop that chemical. I think it's more effective to change their behavior. Uh,
Mhm.
be, uh, so so punishment could be seems seems to be worked at the beginning or in the short term, but it doesn't mean the effect is limited in a very short term. Also, we read the article about self-punishment people.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, I think it's destructive behavior in the end for them. So I think so. Maybe punishment itself is not so effective to change people's behavior.
Well, let me, Mickey. Okay, so let me ask you a question because I know, I don't know how many people know what speed is. It's an amphetamine, that a drug that people use. Actually, there was a time a long time ago that I used it, and it basically is supposed to give you energy, right? I mean, that's it gives you hyped up. Okay, so is the reason why
Mhm.
that's such a problem in your country is because of the idea that people are very hardworking and they
I
work
don't
long
think so.
hours, or what's the reason?
Actually, usual businessmen, such kind of people don't use speed actually, but some entertainers or some youngsters, maybe they are a bit get out of the ordinary society, so they tend to use the speed. The reason why speed is became popular here because World War II, in World War II times,
Mhm.
people have to work very hard without eating anything or something. So speed was not illegal at that time. People didn't know the dangers of the chemical drug. So people without notice, people began to use speed, and then that's the reason why speed is actually drug is severely punished in Japanese society. So, so speed user is not so many, but actually now it's the most how can I say dangerous or most used drug because of that reason. World War II, war devastated people's minds and life and everything actually.
Yeah, I okay, so let me ask you a question about you brought up a really good point that instead of focusing on the root cause of why people commit certain acts, okay, whether it's bad behavior or criminal acts, we focus on the symptom and not the cause of that symptom, right? It's basically
Sorry,
your point, right?
sorry, what did you
What I'm trying to say, Mon, can you mute your microphone for a second, please?
Okay, okay.
Okay, okay, thank you. So what you're saying here is you're saying that in
say?
so
Actually, yeah, I think so. Yes.
justice system and people going to jail again, you would want to understand why people are committing? Is it because they don't have economic opportunity? Because they maybe they grew up in a household where there weren't moral values? Whatever that is, right?
Oh yeah, maybe there is a reason, but just punish these people doesn't change the reason. So it's
Okay.
very difficult to change their behavior.
Okay, good. Okay, so okay, good job. And I would like to, hey Mitch, we're gonna give you just a second. In just a minute, we'll ask you to say what you want to say, but let's just finish with Hiroki real quickly. So anybody else have any questions for Hiroki? Anybody have any questions?
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead, Florian.
If you are not agree with punishment, how do you want acting for, I don't know, um, make these people good, or how explain?
Yeah, to make people good, actually, how can I say, to solve or their to solve the reason. Maybe people they can stop such things, criminal act, because of the fear. So, oh, so it could be a short-term effect, but it's not a long-term effect. So that people, if they lost the fear, maybe they might do the same thing again.
Okay. Did that answer your question, Lori? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. Thank you, Hiroki. Very good. You brought up something I think I want to talk about more, maybe if not today, in the future, because you brought up a really good point, and I think it's something that we don't spend enough time on. I think even here in my country, we don't really always spend enough time thinking on why the behavior occurs, right? Instead, we just focus on affecting or punishing the behavior instead of understanding why it occurs. So I think that's a really good point you bring up. Very good point. Okay, so let's go ahead and I want to say hello to Amina. It's been a long time, so happy to see you here, and everybody else. Tabasum, you're here, so welcome. Um, I think I mentioned to say so. Mitz, okay. So we had a request from Mitz. He wanted to say something briefly, please. So that way Mickey can go ahead and talk about the topic. But Mitch, you wanted to say something to Mickey about her birthday, right?
Yeah, actually, it's not a speech.
Okay.
Uh, Mickey, I hope you let me do this. Always thought you were the best. Guess I always will. Always felt that we would last. And I feel that way still. Sometimes we took the hard road, but we always saw it through. If I had only one friend left, I'd want it to be you. The world was on our side. Sometimes it wasn't fair. Sometimes it gave a helping hand. Sometimes we didn't care. 'Cause when we were together, it made the dream come true. If I had only one friend left, I'd want it to be you. It's you, Mickey. Someone who understands me and knows me inside out and help it beat together. Believes without a doubt that I could move a mountain. Someone to tell it me. If I had only one friend that wanted to be you. Happy birthday, Mickey.
Okay, thank you.
I'm
All
sorry
right.
about
Nice.
that.
No, 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 no. You know what?
That is good.
Any,
Awesome.
anybody that's willing to sing, even if they're not a good singer, I give them credit. Okay, it's it's a thought that
I
Oh,
that's
don't know
that's just
what to feel, Rick, because you just wished me like like birthdays that are not disasters. So I don't know.
oh, completely, completely changed the atmosphere of session by this beautiful
yes,
song.
yes, it's the thought that counts. Okay, okay,
Very interesting.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ron.
okay. Oh, thank you, thank you. Okay, so Mickey, it's your turn. Okay, so how do you want to punish people?
Well,
Oh,
okay.
By a, by performance of a bad song.
okay.
Okay, so I don't really know how I'm going to discuss this topic because I don't think okay. The topic for today is what are the types of punishments we see in society and how effective are they in promoting good behavior? Okay, so I'm gonna say um, punishments are very, very effective. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Uh-huh.
Because recently it's been like a very big news in my country. There's been some killings. I don't know if you guys know about that, but basically a lot of people that are um, a lot of people that are associated with drugs, specifically drug dealers, they are dying one by one, and the government are like saying, but not like really confessing, like, oh, we killed that, we killed them. They are just going to be like, they're gonna say, oh, we're gonna have an investigation for this, but it never really gets solved because they um they don't directly confess that, hey, we did that. It's not gonna get solved. But anyways, people know that they're killing people, these drug dealers. So, and the drug, like the people associated with drugs are getting scared. So I would say that social punishments are very, very effective. I mean, we experienced it firsthand. Like I live in a very populated city in Metro Manila, and when we changed presidents, and actually some people from my neighborhood actually died, and it was very effective because when you go outside at this hour, like 1:35 a.m., if you go outside, there are some 24-hour convenience store. It's now safe to go outside. But before, if you go outside, let's say 11 p.m. at night, going, let's say you're gonna go to the 24-hour convenience store, chances are you might get stabbed. Okay, so I think it's very effective. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so really, really interesting point, and I know that there's been a lot of controversy, right, over I don't get into politics over policies. I'll just use the word policies in your country, right? Right, Mickey? Because and even here in some countries, as an example, in my country, if you're a drug dealer, you could go to prison for a long time, right? But you're not going to be killed, okay? You're not going to be killed, okay? You're not
Yeah,
going to be
because
you're not going to be executed, okay? Because of now But in some countries, and not just in your country, but in some countries where things are extremely conservative, drug dealers are put to death, right?
Yes, but
So
we
go ahead.
we kind of have like, let's say, we are populated more than America. You know that, Rick, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
We're- um, it's gotten to the point that every street, there's like 10 drug dealers, and they don't attack like adult addicts.
Uh-huh.
Okay, they kind of promote by selling to this younger generation.
Right, right.
So it's really become a problem. So now that some people have died, and when the police kill someone, they don't just kill them like inside the jail. No, they kind of like kill them on the street and let the body lay there for quite a bit, and with kind of like a signage that don't. I'm sorry about that, Rick, but it's true. There's a sign that's in their like dead body that says,
Right, right.
"I'm a drug dealer. Don't be like me," or something like that.
Mm,
So if I was associated with drugs, I'd be scared to death, right? Like, oh my gosh, I'll be paranoid. And drug addicts are paranoid as it is. Like, if you do drugs, you're gonna become like, it's gonna mess your mind, and you're gonna have extreme paranoia. And with that added, like, if you know that there's really someone hunting you, you get more paranoid and scared. And yeah,
okay, but
they're
let me
effective.
let me I have two related questions. One question is uh why do you think there's such a drug problem in your country? Obviously people are dealing it because there's a demand, people want it. So why do you think there's such a big problem?
This is going to be sad.
Okay.
Okay, so one of the effects of methamphetamine hydrochloride is when you I don't know if you smoke it or sniff it, I don't really know. But
Hmm.
if you take this drug, you don't have to eat for like, let's say, a week. You
Right.
don't have to eat,
That's
and
nice. Right.
you also get the high effect.
Right, right, right.
You feel like you're a superhuman.
Yeah.
And in a country like a third world country like the Philippines,
Hmm.
and these people are dealing with, let's say, third country problems. Let's just say it's going to be very hard. Okay, it's competitive in 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 a populated city. If you want to find a job, even a minimum wage or less than minimum wage,
Hmm.
there's a lot of people working there already, so it's going to be hard to find a job. And sometimes these people don't even have the education. So they, if you pay, let's say, if you have uh, $6, you can buy a small amount of this drug, and when you take it, you can have no food for, let's say, a week. Okay, and then you're just gonna find some
Right, right,
things to sell to get another $6,
right.
and you're good for the next week. And that's why they do drugs, just so they don't have to eat and don't have to deal with the problems also, because you get the high, and
Right,
that's why
right.
they become addicted.
So they do it to escape from the reality of their lives,
Of course.
which is tied to maybe economic opportunity, etc. Right?
Yes, and also some people, let's say, if they are working,
Hmm.
if you take this drug again, you're more focused, and
Right.
you're like, how do I say it? You're more energetic because it's an
Yeah, yeah,
upper.
yeah. Yep,
Unlike
yep.
a
There you go.
marijuana is like a downer.
Right, 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 right.
So yeah, it's an upper. You perform
Yep.
well, and you basically become a machine, because if you take this drug, you can work for 24 hours without doing anything,
Yeah, yeah.
without eating, without doing anything. You do your job great. So yeah, it's another thing. So yeah, they get addicted.
Okay. Yeah, the reason I asked that question, I used to, when I was a drug and alcohol counselor, I used to counsel people that had drug addiction problems and that kind of stuff. And I understand what you're saying. Okay. Johnny had a question that's kind of, a different question. So the question is, he had, if you, which is completely not related to the drugs, but if you punish your kid for not getting an A in his or her exam versus or vice rewarding him or her, which one do you think is going to be more motivating? So to punish them for not getting good grades or to reward them for getting good grades, which is going to be the more motivating for the child?
Okay, there's a lot of studies, like scholarly journals about punishments and rewards.
Hmm.
Okay, and some scholarly articles says that rewarding verbally, like, oh, you're a good boy, you're a good girl, rather than giving toys is better
Hmm.
than punishing. Okay, but but there is like a new study that says punishment provides a much more like a stronger impact on the subconscious mind. And I don't know if you guys know about MK Ultra. I really don't know, but according to this article that I've read, also do not know if it's a legit article,
Hmm.
but it the punishing like a child um has stronger impact on the subconscious rather than the conscious mind. Okay, but one scholarly article that I've read says that rewards are better than punishment, but personally, I think it's not. I really think punishment is really the stronger stimulus, I would say. Like if you try to condition someone and they are scared to get punished, it's going to be imprinted on the survival skills. Okay. I don't really know, Johnny.
Okay.
It's a hard question.
Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead. Thank you. Thank you. Unfortunately. Um, Oh, let's go on. Thank you, Mickey. Let's go on to because I've got to get out of here in 45 minutes. So if we don't finish in time, I see Jamila has joined us. So welcome, Jamila. Welcome, Aziz. Who else has joined us? Like I said, Babuti, Alareza. So welcome, everybody. Rashid. So you guys can obviously continue even when I leave. Let me see. So Flory, what do you think about the topic, Flory?
Um, about punishment,
Yeah, yeah.
I want people from jail. They work for the city, clean, do everything, because if you put on them in the jail, they receive everything, food, clothes, everything for free, and they sleep all days, do nothing. Then where is the punishment? This I don't understand. They can go at European Union for claim for human rights, but I think I am right, because he will stay in the jail on my money. I paid taxes, everything, but they didn't pay anything. They just receive for free. So here some people learn about it, and they after they are relieved, they start again, but things just for going back, because they in the real life they must find a job, they should work, so it's very hard. For that, I think this is a special punishment. They can work in agriculture everywhere. And in this, why I think meant for people which do wrong people, because how I write in chat box, some people enjoy making bad things. They are happy when do that. This is my opinion.
So what you're saying there, Flory, is you think that, people going to prison, for some people, it's not even really a punishment because they get all these things that many people outside of prison that are trying to work hard don't even get. So your point is that these people, if you commit a crime, then you should have some way to contribute back to society, like community service, helping to clean roads, or these kind of things, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay. And a lot of people say that. A lot of people say that, I mean, their life in prison, they get fed every day, right? They have a place to sleep. Some cases they have access to computers or classes or etc. Now, of course, you lose your freedom, okay? But
Please, Rick, for one person in the prison, government allocated something over 500 euro. Where some people, I think 50% from population don't have this high salary. So isn't fair.
yeah, no, I think that that's a point that often comes up, that there are people that what they call it, institutionalized criminals, people that basically spend their entire life going in and out of jail or prison, and you think about the burden to the taxpayer, right? That has to
Yeah.
pay for all this. So that's a legitimate concern, and so Floyd, in your country, they don't make criminals do community service. They're not allowed out of the prison to do work for like the state or the country. No.
No, 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 because they said I go at European Union Committee and I claim about my right in Constitution. You cannot force me for go to work. If I don't want, I don't sign for this. You cannot force people.
Oh, interesting,
Yes,
interesting.
yes, yes.
Okay, huh. I'm gonna write that down. I think that's very interesting. It says you cannot be forced to work.
No, no, no.
Huh. Interesting.
They go at the court and start trial. And they win.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions for Flory? Anybody have any questions for Flory? Let me ask one more question. And Jamila, you're living in France, which is part of the EU. So, do you know about this law as well?
Hello, which law?
The law, basically, Flory's saying that because Romania is part of the EU passed some kind of law, or there was something where prisoners cannot be forced to work outside of prison. Do you know anything about this?
I'm not sure. No.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Johnny, you have a question. What's your question, Johnny? Okay, so Flory, Johnny says someone who commits crime against humanity can also go and do, huh? Someone who commits crime against humanity can also go and do community service. I don't understand, Johnny, that question.
If they kill many people, so if they are allowed for go and work outside,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Well, no, that's what she's saying, Johnny. I think what Flory's saying is that anybody that goes to prison, from what she said, is the EU, the European Union, has said that these people cannot be forced to work outside of prison. They cannot be forced basically forced labor. Okay, they cannot be forced. It's against their constitutional right. That's what I think Flory was saying.
It's not.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I guess they call them volunteer programs. So you can do them or you can just not.
Okay. So
Yes, yes, but you can ask. But if I said no, you cannot force me.
okay, I see. I see. So you could volunteer to work outside the prison, but you cannot be forced to work
Yes,
outside.
yes.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, which is different here in my country. They have places where you can be forced to work. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Was before in communism, yes, but now no.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I'd like to ask a question.
Thank you.
Sure. Sure, Rashid. Yeah, sure, Rashid. Ask your question. Uh-huh.
My question is, anyway, as I know that if you if anybody does crime and if she's punished in the jail and if he's tortured or I mean police or the jail people, jail staffs, don't I mean, I mean, I mean, if they don't let them understand um, that, I mean, if they mistreat those inmates, after it happened in our country that after jail, after the I mean, serving their stay in jail, when they come out of the jail, they become more aggressive. They become very more criminal. Their criminal tendency gets higher than before. So, if do you think that um, I mean forcing the people to work in jail and I mean making trouble to the prisoners in jail it will be helpful for their I mean what's the correction for their let us say sorry I cannot use
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean
So
is that
remember.
will it
Yeah.
be helpful um, for their well-being? So what's your opinion about it? I like to know.
Floyd, did you understand what Rashid was asking?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Um,
He tried to. You gonna try to answer? Uh-huh.
I think um, I don't know if they become good or not, but in fact, they pay for what they receive for food, for clothes, for everything, and there is a balance between people which work and for people from jail which receive everything for free. This is my target, not because people from jail, uh, which I saw, I don't know, but maybe
Why
I'm
they
wrong.
don't? Why they
They
don't?
uh,
Understand? I
they
understand.
never ever they never ever change their behavior.
Okay, but why
Well, wait.
don't?
Okay. Wait.
Why don't
Rashid.
people in the society?
Rashid. Wait.
It's
Wait.
my
Wait.
last
Please.
question. I
Wait.
like
Wait.
to
Wait.
ask.
Wait. No. 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 Rashid. Please wait a second. Remember what we talked about yesterday? One of the challenges, and this was my feedback to you yesterday. One of the challenges I think is that you tend to go on and on. I would strongly recommend that you find a way to be more concise when you ask questions or make a point. People will have an easier time to understand. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. You have another question? Go ahead.
Okay, my question is, why don't the people in society who are, I mean, say civil, I mean, I mean, um, I mean the I know renowned people in society and intellectual thinkers, why don't they form opinion and put pressure on government to change their policy? Why it is not happening there in Europe?
Because people are too tired about their life. All the time they go on the street for climb sign something, but just for a few rules they had success. For that, I think people in ask about questions, and uh, in yes.
Good,
If you compare American prisons to European prisons, Europeans do much better job because they have so many programs to help prisoners reintegrate into society, as opposed to the U.S. So they do a very good job, especially, for example, if you go to Germany, to the Netherlands. Yeah. So this is just what I want to say.
Well, yeah, and go ahead, Flory, go ahead.
I agree with you, but people has bad behavior. There are many schools for to learn something. Companies receive some percent for hire this type people, but they refused, or they want, I don't know, something which they haven't any qualification. So it's a circle. Do you understand?
Yes, and actually, if you go to those prisons, Germany, for example, and Netherlands, and maybe France too, because I don't think there are major problems here in France. Most of the time, I feel safe, even when you go to areas that are not necessarily safe for people. So that's the point when, and I think that it goes back to what you said in the beginning. Prisons should be are meant to punish people, and that's not necessarily the approach they are taking here, because this is something. This is a tool. Actually, it's just a transition to enable prisoners to lead a life of social responsibility. Of course, they just take out people from society, they isolate them, but at the same time, they try to educate them in order to reintegrate them into that society.
Okay. So we'll have a chance. We have a lot more people to go to. I'm sure we'll touch on this more, because I think that that's a really good point that you guys are making. I saw a documentary about the prison system in the Netherlands the other day. It was actually pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Excuse me. Let's move on to Bijan. Bijan, you've been patiently waiting. We have a lot of other people that haven't had a chance. So Bijan, tell us what you think, please.
Okay.
And good job, Flory. Good job. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Actually, I want to categorize the punishment as in three category. I mean, the first one is the punishment we known as domestic punishment, which happened in our families, and the second one is punishment in schools, which can be continued in university and other, education systems. Organized education systems. And the other one, which is in society, happened in very various kind, and different ranges of punishment happened in society. Actually, I want to have an, I think, originally punishment is happened when we reach a point that we desperate of normal and positive reward training. In this case, when the failure in education will happen and the parents have to make some punishment to children, and this is the point that the children decides to be, to act in a different way from the normal behaviors. So I think these are the reason that why people, when they grow up and come to society, they don't want to accept their social rules because they have they got some disorders from their family and the society around them. But I don't know. If I want to give you an example, in my country, some people have some, disorders which cause that they can't behave in a normal way, and they don't want to have accept some responsibilities to do their jobs, and they want, as Furi said, they want to receive rewards without any pain, without any efforts, and this caused that the society needs that isolate these persons in a place, and I think we cannot avoid the punishment and this is a ultimate solvent tool, I think.
Okay. Bijan, let me ask you a question as a parent, okay? So my question for you as a parent, is it the parent's responsibility to teach these standards and teach good behavior, or is the society's responsibility to do it? Whose responsibility is it to make sure that your child understands what good behavior is?
I think the best stage is that parents, in a normal family, parents have
Okay.
responsibility to teach their children.
Okay.
Normal.
Okay.
But some people have some, disorders, which happen according to genetic or some social problems.
Yeah. There are people that have mental issues. No, there are people that have problems. Okay. Okay. So there was one more question related to that before I will go back to Flori real fast if she's still here. Okay, we lost her, so we'll have to ask that if she comes back. So when you say that it's a parent's, okay, in most cases it's the family's responsibility to teach good behavior. Okay, you have a daughter, okay, and I don't want to get personal, but I mean, what has been most effective for you, if you don't mind saying, in your situation? Is it punishment for bad behavior, or is it rewarding for good behavior, or is it a combination of both for you in your situation?
Actually, I prefer to use reward
Okay.
for conditional behavior, but sometimes we need to use punishment because uh, children would not realize the right way to be to behave.
Okay.
Of course, they naturally want to be. I mean, mm, behave in a in a manner that they satisfy their parents.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I mean,
Okay. 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 Good. 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 Thank you for explaining that. Okay. So let's go. Let's go ahead. So Floyd, there was one question Johnny wanted earlier that he said. Let me go back to what he said. He said, wait. Okay. Flory? Maybe. Well, it's only good if she answers. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Flory. So Johnny, Johnny says, do you ever punish yourself? So if you make a mistake, do you punish yourself for making that mistake? Do you feel guilty about it? Do you self-punishment? Do you do things do you sabotage yourself in some way out of guilt for something you did wrong?
Yes. When I make some mistakes, I blame myself, and unfortunately, I told myself, "Oh my God, you are so stupid! You don't learn anything. Please go read again. What is the mistake? Ask if you don't understand." Yes, always I do that.
Well, I think
Is
you're not alone. I think we all do.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not alone.
yeah.
We often being self-critical is not a bad thing. It can help us grow. Okay, but it shouldn't be to the point where it buries us either. Okay.
Yes, but sometimes I wish people show and apart for we can how say learn and find a solution for good behavior for we don't act again in this way.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Johnny, I think let's go ahead and move on. We have a lot of people. If you guys want to go back
Yes, thank you.
when I'm done, you guys can most surely go to more detail. But let's go on to So. So, what do you have to say about the topic?
Hello.
Hey, So.
Hi.
How are
Okay.
you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, bad behavior differ to society, and as we are, as I was listening, we are all agrees about bad behavior that the law determines. So, about drugs and killing, it's international crimes, and we all suffer from this. And nowadays, research they still have um, solution. We still we are searching for solution. so we don't have exact one. Every time we say something, there's um, we never had it in our societies. Nowadays, it's like prevailing like a virus. And we try to separately, as a country, try to find a solution. We thought that maybe um, it's our problem. And I think the right punishment is come from your culture, should call should come from your culture, from your country, from the law that you have. It's not, we shouldn't have like international, because it doesn't um, suit us all. We don't have the same behavior, we don't have the same mentality, so the punishment should be different, according to that person, according to that country. And we have individual crimes um, and we have social crimes like killing someone. Killing someone is not social, it's individual, because once you have a dispute with someone, he will get to kill you because you have a problem with him. He doesn't kill you because, for example, it's random, because he has something right away to you. He knows you. That's why he comes and kill you, for example. And stealing is social because he doesn't know you. He just steal your house because he found the door open. He doesn't know you specifically, and goes right because he doesn't know. So for me, I think that we have to distinguish between the both. And once you have, for example, once you have that, um, you caught, for example, if you caught stealer comes to your house and he begged for your mercy and begged, please do not do not take me to jail, and you took him to jail. Do you think that will solve the problem? I think in this time, if you didn't report him, for me, this is my opinion, and threaten him, if he repeats that you will report him as a threat, I think he would never do that again. I beg for, I really, really, I am with forgiveness. And once you report that, it will be social, a problem. Once you report that, I think the judge should have, how can I say, a very harsh sentence for this kind of crimes, because it touch the whole society. Once that thief comes to your house, he will come to different houses. I say you should have a long sentence, not short sentence. They can 2 years, and he will get out from jail, and he will. Once you taste the jail, you will re arrested again and again and again. And the second thing is, some people, not all of them, they have financial problems once they got to jail. Sometimes they don't have, they feel there's no sense of justice in the country, because some of the countries, I don't need to name the countries, they go to jail only because people, they recheck them because they from that ethnicity. They criminalize them. They say you come from this ethnicity, you are criminal. You need to recheck many times. And the other people who maybe he is a criminal, or has bad behavior, he just get away because he's come from that ethnicity. And when you see that, you will, if you criminalize people, you will end up finding them in the jail, because you do that, they will come, psychologically, it's reverse psychology. So you will find them there because they don't know what happened. You find them in jail. So I think that the most important thing is, um, we should know um, we should know when and how and where we take this kind of people. We should take care of them. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So I have a question for you, but before I have a question, Johnny has a question. His question is: are you for or against the death penalty?
forgive that person one-to-one, forgive him, and he asks for my forgiveness, I will forgive. But when it's come to authorities, I am with death penalty because it threats the whole society. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you a question I had then. So you said that you believe that crime is not something that should be standardized. How we define crime is not something that should be standardized at an international level because it's dependent upon, in some cases, culture and other things, right?
Yeah, like drinking alcohol here, it's bad behavior here.
Well, there's
But in
bad
your
behavior, but
country,
not criminal. Not criminal. It's bad behavior, but not criminal, right?
but we're talking about effective way to
Okay,
have
okay,
good
okay,
behavior and bad
okay,
behavior.
okay,
This is what I meant by good
okay,
behavior and bad
okay,
behavior. Yeah.
okay. Ah, okay. So,
But
so let me finish. Let me finish. Okay. So, well, that's a is that bad behavior? Is that a moral thing or a legal thing? See, that's a difference. Where are we talking about moral things? Because I would agree, morals are. I don't know. This could be a long point. Morals are different than legal, right? You could do something that's legally right, but morally wrong, right?
Yeah.
So you could drink, okay, and to be honest, my feelings about drinking is there's nothing morally wrong with it, okay? Legally,
Absolutely. Yeah. This
legally,
is my point.
okay,
Absolutely.
legally, yeah, legally, I could get in a car and drive. If I'm drunk. If I get pulled by police, I could get in big trouble because that's legally not right. Okay. So this is challenging. This is you bring up a really good point. The difference between legal and moral, because I would agree, morals in some cases are. I don't think it's cultural as much as it may be tied to a religious faith, which in some cases are very what's the right word for it? Uh, Integrated. Okay. So because when I was in Tunisia, obviously a lot of people there drink. Okay. I don't see anything morally wrong with that unless you get drunk and go off and do something stupid. Okay. Then I think that's just being a jerk. Okay. That's just being stupid. Okay. But so okay. Interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
let me ask you one more question then. So
Yeah.
if I commit a crime in a country, let's say I'm in Tunisia and I commit a crime, okay, that's against their law, but I'm an American citizen, okay? So in my country, we have laws, and laws change from country to country in many cases. So, should I have the right to be? This has to do with extradition. I don't know if you guys know what it means. Some of you probably do, but it means the
Yeah.
ability to be tried for a criminal case in your country, not
Hmm.
country. Okay. So, if I commit a crime in Tunisia and I come back to the United States, Tunisia may or may not have laws which allow them to bring me back to Tunisia to face that crime. Do you agree with that? In other words, do you think that if you commit a crime in a country, that you should be held in that country for that crime? Or if you're a citizen from another country, you should be tried based upon the laws in your own country?
Well, I don't know. You're speaking about Tunisia, not Algeria, so I don't know.
Well, Algeria. Let's pick Algeria. So let's say I'm in Algeria. I do something wrong. That's against the law. I come back to the United States. Okay, Algeria says, Rick, we want you to come back here because you did this. Okay, so do you think that they have the right to do that?
You said you commit a
Okay.
crime, so
Okay.
it is morally wrong and it's legally wrong. so,
Okay.
so yeah.
Okay. So, all right, and again, this is interesting because, morally, you know what, I think we all, regardless of our religion, regardless of whether we live in a different country, we do have in general in society standards. We do have standards. Okay, in pretty much any country in the world I've been to, it's wrong to kill somebody unless it's in self-defense. Okay, that's pretty much across the world, I would say, at least all the countries I went to. Okay, Now, Mickey told us about, for example, in her country where, there's some things going on, okay? But in general, I would say in most of society across most countries, it's wrong to kill somebody. Most people in most parts of society would say it's wrong to steal from people, okay? Most people in society would say it. So there are certain things that across this world, across all of our countries in general, are pretty standardized, okay? Now, there
Yeah.
may be differences. There may be some countries where it's different, okay? And for example, in Saudi Arabia, which is very conservative, you can't drink out in public, okay? When I was
Here
in,
also,
okay,
in my
Yes.
country, Algeria, you can't drink alcohol in public.
okay,
Not
well,
You can't drink like a beer and walk in a public like
okay,
that because it's against the law here.
okay. So when I
So
was at, go ahead,
yeah,
sorry.
just I would
But
like to say something about our law. It has religious um, reference
Right,
as any country because all of the countries has religious background in their law, including your country, Richard. You know that.
Okay.
yes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
excuse me.
In United States, you know that the blue laws, when you can't drink alcohol in some days,
Oh, no,
it's
no, no,
against
no,
the
no,
law.
no. There are some areas that they, yes, there
Yeah,
are some areas.
like
Yeah,
these exist. Yeah,
well, they have what they have ordinances which are localized and certain things. Yeah, yeah, So I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Not that I agree with that, but I give you that. Okay.
yeah,
Um,
of course.
because the point I was just trying to make is that yeah, this is a tough one. This is a tough one because for those that believe that our culture and religion because should be completely separate from law, right? Completely separate, which I do. I do. Not everybody's going to agree with that. Some people would, some people don't. And again, that's where you're from does have an impact because you're right. Uh, so anyway, so I think Bijan had a question. Bijan.
Yes, I want to emphasize that the our discussion was about the range of and the effective of punishment, and I want to say about the case of drinking alcohol. According to give you an example of two, I mean, engagement with this problem into countries. I want to say, in my country, for example, according to the religion backgrounds and or according to your mm, moral ethics, uh, they if someone drinks in public places, they he will punished in a very bad situation because they punish him in a public place, and he will completely lose his self confidence and self I mean esteem, uh, because but for example, I know that in some countries like England, they they use another punishment, and I mean which is very effective, and they photographed of a drunken man after, and show him the consequences of drinking alcohol in public places. It's very different kind of punishment, but and we should set a standard, set a effective behavior in all the world, because in the nowadays we all people around the world watch news in every moment, and I think we need uh, the same and some standard punishment for, and I don't believe that be punished according to the religious backgrounds.
Okay. So hey, listen, I've got to go in about 2 or 3 minutes because I have an appointment. I see that Johnny's here, he can't speak, but Jamila's also here. So I'm gonna keep this open when I go. But real quickly, I want to say what I think before I get out of here, because we have a lot more people to go. They haven't had a chance to speak so far, so I'd like to give them the opportunity. But before I go, to me, I think that we have to really take a hard look at, trying to separate our morals and what is legal. And to me, separating what we feel religiously and what is legal. Because to me, they are separate things. Now, I think Soso brought up a good point that, part of many countries, the way people believe from a faith standpoint did have a large impact on the way that they formed their country, the laws, the government, et cetera, et cetera. And that is true. That is true. But to the extent that we can do so, I think that we should try to separate them because I think they are a little bit different. And the example brought up earlier is when I was in Italy a week and a half ago. In Italy, you could order a beer in a store, walk outside to the park and drink a beer in the park. I know, I did it. Okay, nothing, everybody, no problems. I was surprised because in my country, you have to be careful. Yes, you could drink alcohol, but there are certain laws against drinking in public. Okay. So, what I saw in Italy was that it was a little bit more, actually, in some cases, open about that than maybe my country, okay? I was actually kind of surprised about that. So I think we have to, again, understand the difference. The other thing I would say before I go is what Bijan was saying earlier, what other people were saying earlier, it's about consequences, okay? The reason why we punish or discipline children, in most cases, or at least in my case, was to, teach my daughter to understand that for any bad behavior, there's a consequence. If you don't clean your room, there's a consequence. If you don't take out something, take out the trash, there's a consequence. If you don't do your homework, there's a consequence, okay? So in life, as we're, when we're growing up, if we don't learn about responsibilities and expectations and consequences, think about what that does to us as an adult, okay? As an adult in that case, then we grow up thinking that there's no consequences for bad behavior or for not being responsible. So there's a reason why we instill these things in a child as they're growing up. Now, I also believe that in rewarding, because I think rewarding has more of a positive impact than punishing. I tend to want to reward more than I punish because I think taking a positive approach is always better. That doesn't mean that we can't sometimes, take disciplinary action or punish somebody because, sometimes that's necessary. But the majority of the time, we should focus on rewarding good behavior if we want good results, okay? So that's all I wanted to say. I do have to go, like I said, but you have, I guess Johnny cannot speak now, but he's here. And Jamila, I don't know how much longer you have available. If you have another half hour to finish up the session with everybody, I don't know. Jamila, do you have a half hour to spend with the group here? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Hello.
Yes, do you?
What did you say?
Oh my gosh. Do you have
Okay.
do you have a half hour to spend with the group here? Because Johnny can't speak. Do you have a half hour, 30 minutes free to spend with the group? I've got to go to some point. Okay.
Sure.
So thank you very much. Appreciate that very much. And thank you everybody. It was a really good discussion and we will talk to you guys later, okay? All right. I'll keep it open, Jamila, okay? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I don't know who do we have. I mean, who wanted to speak? Anybody?
Mirage, it's your turn.
Did you say?
I don't know whose
Well,
turn it is. Rick. I don't know the list.
No,
I don't know the list either. Hmm?
please hold on, Jamila. We want to listen your ideas.
Well, I think Rick just posted the list. Ricky, Mickey, Bijan, and have all spoken. Okay, so I guess I will just look at the list I see here. So we have, I think Bijan, you spoke. We have, I don't know, Rashid, if you have spoken. Rashid, did you want to say something? Maybe he's not here. I don't know. Or Aziz, I see Aziz is here. Maybe he wanted to speak.
Hey,
Okay, no one wants to speak.
I'm here.
Who is this?
I'm here.
Okay, so who is this? I don't know who's speaking.
I'm Aziz.
Oh, okay. So did you want to speak?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, well, go ahead. Tell us what you
Well,
think.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I've been listening to you. You're talking, I think, about historical management in regards with children. I think that's a very good topic. And it's got everywhere. It's in the street. It's well, I hear a lot of noise. Can you please mute your microphones, please?
Yes, please, everybody, please mute. Make sure your microphones are muted. Otherwise, it makes it very hard. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh yeah, now
Okay.
it's better.
Yeah,
It's better.
that's better.
Well, I said it's kind of a common issue. A lot of people discuss it. It's discussed everywhere. It's in the street. It's in the cafes. It's in public places, public areas, in in schools. And it's a very good topic. I think it's really worth discussing. And well, I mean, it's kind of general to discuss, an age group, children. I mean, it's a good job, but I think to discuss the whole group, it's kind of challenging, difficult to say the least. I mean, you should say better that for example, one age. For example, when you say children, it's not one age, and to apply one thing to one age, it's kind of hard. What could be applicable to one thing might not be applicable to another thing. So then it's hard. But because you're talking about children in general, I'd talk about it. Um, and I have a general take on this. Well, for me, children, or let's say punishment, has never been a solution to people's behavior or to correcting people's behavior. And sometimes it even aggravates it. It aggravates it. It makes it even worse. And I think so because I've been punished a few times, and this has never proved to be promising to my behavior. It never corrected it, but it even made it worse. It even limited my potentials and my skills. And sometimes people punish you, or have been punished for things people think you did, but you didn't. And that's a very, very atrocious and kind of very bad, thing to do. And as a teacher, I never think of, punishing my students. Why? The reason is simple. It's kind of simple equation. This has never worked for me, and it will never work for others. To make people frightened, to make people scared and not happy with what they want to learn is kind of wrong. Instead of focusing on making them study what they want, what do you want them to study, what do you want them to learn, you have to study about it and make them excited about it, and you have to make them interested about it. Well, for example, you're teaching them anything like, I don't know, whatever the thing you're teaching them, and you feel like the students are not interested, or some of them, or just one or two, are not interested in that.
you won't be, you won't go ahead and punish them. You make them suffer because of what you're teaching them. Instead, you have to know how to teach it. You have to study about it, and you have to know what you have to do in order to make them excited about it. Um, I've seen a lot of people who, in teaching, they do this. They kind of, when students are not able to learn something, they beat them. They say really terrible, bad things to them. They're even rude with them because they are not able to study or they're not able to understand uh, or assimilate that. um, I've never seen these people really working hard in order to make the students learn that thing. Instead, they yell and scream at them, which is, I believe, very, very bad. Children always like or learn what they like, and it comes from within, not what they don't like. You never make them learn things that they don't want to or that they're not interested in. Well, and sometimes it doesn't mean that when a student is not good at something, is terrible at other things. If someone is not good at studying English, for example, it doesn't mean that he's bad at other things, at sports or other things. Could be really good. Then there are other things that we have to consider and we have to do in order to make these people interested in something. Why I'm saying this is, I don't believe in corporal punishment or punishment in general. Instead, we have to always reward. It's very important to do that. Rewarding is very good. Um, well, for example, if someone can do something, you have to, for example, help them understand it, and then later tell them that if you are good and if you're successful, if you get it correct, something like this, then you'd get this, and then people really work hard and they will do all that it takes in order to make it, good, and they get it. And this is how it works. Not going ahead and punishing people. I don't believe in that, and I never do it, and I never ever think of it. That's my opinion on this.
Good. Good. Um, any
Let
questions?
me speak after him.
Yeah. Deepak this side.
Hi.
I have a question.
Yes, hello.
Yeah.
Who
Hi,
wanted to
how are
ask a
you?
question?
Yeah, first of all, I want to introduce myself. I'm Deepak
Excuse me, guys. Wait a second. Wait a second. Before you speak, please introduce yourself because I have no idea who's talking. So.
Yeah, that's why I'm introducing myself. So I'm Deepak from India. And
Okay, Deepak. Good.
yeah.
I know you. Go ahead.
Okay. So as there is a question for the Rashid, as he said that the punishment is no more solution for the crime. So if we will want punish the peoples, the old peoples will be like demons, and they no one be able to grab their crime, or we have no, do you know what, hands on them. So if they will not, they won't have the fear of punishment, so more and more people will start doing crime, and it will lead to the peak of the crime full city. So what will be the solution of that? If you said that I am not easy with the punishment things, so what would be the other solution for that? That's the question.
Okay, Aziz, can you answer that question? Please make sure you're concise.
This question for me?
Are you able to understand my question?
Yes, Aziz, that was for you.
Oh, it's a good question, I think. Um, what I think I have another question. Well, if you say that people, if they're not punished, they would go ahead and kill other people, they would commit crimes and so on. Well, then, what's your take on people who, get out of the prison, of the jail, and they commit mistakes? Sometimes they have a lot of corporal punishment, and yet they never get to correct the behavior. So I think, this entitles people, not to get punished
There
corporally,
is
I
a,
mean, they,
yeah,
yeah.
I have an answer for that. The answer is that the peoples who commit the crime again after escaping the jail is very less. You can just compare the government who has punished 3,000 peoples. Government had punished 3,000 peoples in a month. The peoples who do commit crime again are very less in number. They are just eight, and they are, they are just duffer. They are again be punished. That's the right solution. It is not the right solution that we should stop punishing them. How we can
Okay.
just treat like that? Yeah.
Well, I think this is interesting, but this is getting more into an opinion rather than a question. So I guess because you will go next, you can save this and you can tell us what you think, okay?
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah. Thank you, Aziz. That was interesting.
Hello.
That,
Hello.
yes, safe.
Sorry, I have got a question for Aziz. Just, I'm sorry.
Sure, please be concise, though. Okay, you can go ahead. Uh-huh.
Sure. My question is, Aziz, you are a teacher, and you said that rewarding students is better than punish them.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of many students? They didn't do their homework, or repeatedly you tell them for a week, a month, and they are careless. What would you do for those students? They cannot understand, and they don't do what you tell them to do.
This is another good question, I think. Well, I don't consider that students are always in class because they are there in order to follow what you tell them to do. You're not there to make them, I don't know, worship. Let's say this word, worship what you're doing. They're not there for that. They're not meant to be doing that. Students are there, well, to learn. I think that's the first purpose why the students are being there. But sometimes students are there because they have to, because they're forced, because somebody forced them to go there, not because they want to be there. Well, in some centers where students come to study because they want it, because they like it, because they have the desire to learn, then you'll never have this problem. And I'm a teacher at the American Language Center. It's a place where people have to pay in order to study, and they find a lot of people, like 99% of people who are studying there, are interested in studying. Why? Because they pay, because they want to study, they want to learn. In another school, I mean, well, it could be public school, even private, sometimes they pay, yes, but then again, it's their parents that they send them there, and they lose interest of studying. And because they're interested in other things, and I said it before, these students are more into, for example, playing sports, I don't know, doing some other activities, playing games, and so on, and they don't want to study and they don't want to learn. Sometimes, it's the teacher's fault. It's not the student's fault. It's because of what the teacher is doing that makes the students, unable to follow up, in order, to continue what they're learning. Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I guess that was interesting. Actually, that's a new perspective. But I guess the context is different, obviously. Well, thank you, Aziz. I think you had the opportunity to tell us what you think, and thank you for the questions. I think we have only 15 minutes left, and we have many people. So let's go to Deepak.
Yeah.
I'm here.
So
Can I?
Yes. Who's this?
Deepak this side. So my opinion on this
Okay, go
topic
ahead.
is, yeah, my opinion is on this topic is that it is somewhat depends upon the level of punishment to the level of crime. Our society can give the punishment to those peoples who commit crime, but it also depends on the level of punishment that they are giving, or the level of punishment or level of crime they are doing. So as we commonly sees, the peoples normally do smoking at the public place, that is also comes under the crime. So it's very difficult to for the non-smokers to smell the fumes of the smoking. So it's a problem for the peoples. And like uh, flowers, some people plucks pluck flowers from the parks. This is not this is also not the right thing. And some young guys do racing in the sort of society's roads, on the society's roads, and some people plays on them. So I think these are the crimes the peoples do in society. Like it can be someone when some peoples do use loudspeakers to listen their songs, and it disturbs the uh, neighbors. And as we see in common area, the honking, peoples do unnecessary honking, and I think these are the all. So there should be severe punishment given by the society. In some of the society, there is a committee that is led by the some peoples. There is some president, vice president, something like that. So they also take care of society and also take care of the crimes which are committed in society in last few days. So it is generally being held in the end of the month, and there's the society president gives the punishment like something you have to these maybe it be consider punishment should be given in the term of money or should be in the term of regret. Like if someone has spoiled the park or plucked the park flowers, so the punishment should be like that he has to plant the flowers, so he should plant the tree. There should be a punishment like that. And if someone has did smoking at the public area, so uh, punishment should be like that he has to collect all the wrappers of the burn of the used cigarettes, or the he has to do cleansweep of the area. So that kind of punishment should be given. So as you know that the cops can't have eyes on all the peoples, so it's our duty to have eye on the peoples who commit crime, so that we can be the eyes of the cop, and our society will be better, and our country will be better, and our world will be better. So
Okay.
uh, this is my opinion. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Obviously, you have a different approach and a different perspective from, for example, Aziz. Well, because I think we still have many people and we don't have so much time, we'll just skip the question part of it.
No.
If anyone has a question to Deepak, you are welcome to ask the questions in the chat because we don't have time to address them. I think next person is Safe or
Me.
who is me?
It's me.
Who's me?
Mitch.
Okay, Mitch, then go ahead.
Mitch. I'm Mitch.
Okay, sure, you go ahead.
Now, stereotype Spanish men we see in society and how effective are they in promoting? Well, personally, I don't think it is effective at all. I was once apprehended in an airport, not going to say which one, but basically, I said a very bad joke, a bad joke, and it was a bad idea. Well, while I was in custody, I explained clearly that I had no idea that talking about bombs, not specifically in a joking manner, will result in being apprehended. I explained to the officer that I had no idea that talking about bombs in the plane while while waiting for takeoff, it may result in being held in custody and subject for interrogation. My point is, I was ignorant about this specific law and was not educated at all. So my thoughts are rather than wasting my time learning about calculus, why didn't I just read the labor code and behave like a good citizen? Anyways, they decided to put me behind bars, which now I know is illegal detention because they thought I was suspicious and would need more would need monitoring. I experienced hell when I was in the jail. I was abused in all ways possible, the front and back. Even my mouth was bleeding. They were suspicious. And fast forward, social punishments just angers me more than take me into being a good citizen. It makes me it makes me want to rebel and put everybody at peace. No one deserves to be in jail because of some sins that can be forgiven. I think what we all should do is what we want to do. That is the real definition of freedom. My ultimate goal in life is to put everybody at peace, spread love and peace by rebelling against the injustice people with powers created so they stay on top. That is my reaction to this. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mitch. I'm not sure I understood everything you said though, but I guess maybe I was not receptive, and that's okay. Well, thank you for sharing your opinion. Okay, and again, if you guys have questions, please feel free to ask them in the chat. Okay. Well, Save, did you want to share your opinion?
Not now. I think I'm doing
Well,
a lot of things, so I prefer to listen.
it's now or never.
I think it's never. Almost we've
Okay,
got
that's okay.
a few times. Yes.
Sure,
Hmm.
that's okay.
Hi, I just had a question.
Who's this?
I'm Anna.
Anna, okay. Uh-huh.
Yes. I just wanted to ask Mitch,
Mm-hmm.
the last friend who spoke. He was innocent, yes?
What? He was what? Excuse me?
When you know
Yes, yes.
Yes,
when they
he was
Yes.
innocent.
okay, when they put you in the jail, you were innocent, so they made a mistake. And that's why you thought you don't deserve the jail and it didn't work for you. But I think totally we need the execution, jail, corporal punishment, some strict punishments. And I don't agree that we should, um, remove them, take them all out from, the society rules. It doesn't work. For example, for me, I don't know. I think like this. If I'm sure that government will not punish me, so I hate several people, I kill them all, and so it's okay because I'm sure that no one will kill me instead. So I don't know how people think, but I think there should be strict rules, and unfortunately, some of the strict rules are corporal. Or for the
Yeah, it's
children, um, okay, and another friend talked about children, and I saw this. Some children, if you do not put pressure on them and you do not punish them, they do not do homework. And it is not just the teacher's fault. Sometimes of course, I agree. Sometimes teachers, sometimes parents, and sometimes the children, should. Uh, or hyperactivity. They don't like to aspect what is it accept it, and they do not care about that, so they make the situation get worse. That child doesn't study. The Maybe the teacher doesn't know, and the teacher just choose to punish corporally or such things. I mean, it is not just black and white, and that's it. Of course, it's not good to be harsh, and if rewards work, it's better. But sometimes I think it is necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you. Well, that was interesting. And I would agree with that. But I guess we have very positive people here, and it always interesting because you have people thinking that punishment is not effective. You have other people thinking punishment is actually pretty effective. So it's unfortunate we didn't have the time to discuss this more. So who would like to go next? And I think this will be the last person before I leave. So who would like to go? I guess Safe, not now. Ali Reza?
I
don't know.
think it is your chance, Jamila, because you didn't speak up now.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. Ali Reza, I don't think you spoke.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. How are you?
Good. Thank you. How are you?
Okay. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good. So, can you share with us what you think about the topic?
I mean, the variety of punishment nowadays, we can see variety of punishment, sanction, or something like that. And what brought before going prison, punish, and that's what I know. I mean, I think, and prevent people of some bad actions that might happen in the future. It does prevent. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Wow, that was so brief, Ali Reza.
Okay.
Well, if you wanted to say more, I mean, you can.
Oh.
No?
I mean, punishment, as we can see, it's a behavior that, punishment, in my opinion, it's not all the time good. We should just reward, give prison or something like that to encourage people to do something good. We should not thinking about punishment first. We should first of all think about encouraging people. Then, if it didn't answer to us, we can go with punishment. But first of all, we should never think about the punishment.
Okay, so in your opinion, punishment should be the last option, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, I don't know if we have people left that didn't have the opportunity to speak. So, if you wanted to say something, we can do it now. Otherwise, I will have to leave. Anybody? Okay, Johnny. Okay. Well, good. Then thank you, everyone. It was pretty concise, I guess, the last part of it. And again, please remember that the chat is always open. So if you didn't have the opportunity to speak more here, or ask questions, you can, of course, do it in the chat, okay? You can ask your questions. You can provide more detailed opinion, okay? Well, thank you,
Copy.
everyone. And please, yes? Okay, so thank you. Please take care. And of course, talk to all of you tomorrow for the debate, which will be earlier, okay? So please make sure you go to the website and look at the schedule. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
All right. Thank you. Bye. Bye.